Coming up in this episode of the Preston North End Weekend Warm-Up, happiness at Huddersfield, the future looks bright for our under-19s, and Graham Alexander is our special guest. All that and so much more on the Preston North End Weekend Warm-Up. Hello and a very warm welcome to this episode of the Preston North End Weekend Warm-Up, and we all mean that quite literally at the moment. I can see you there sitting with your ice pops and your cold drinks, and what about the Carabao Cup game at Huddersfield Town? Preston North End red hot to move us through to round two.
North End look to start again. Hots into Whiteman. Whiteman with a miss-out pass, skips out Woodburn and finds Fernandez on the edge of the box. Trying to move it onto his right foot, gets it away to Ledson, who shoots, forces a save from Nichols. It comes back out, and North End sweep it into the back of the net, and Troy Parrott has his first Preston North End goal. And Brad Potts motors forward down the right flank. Four forward in the box for Brad Potts to find. Looks for Parrott, controls it, looks to lay it off on the edge of the box, but he'll go alone here, Parrott. He goes past three, shoots, forces a save from Nichols. Parrott now popping up on the left wing, drops it back to Cunningham. Potts coming in, smashes the frame of the goal, and now it's Whiteman who shoots over. Brad Potts there would have had a contender for goal of the season. Whiteman and Ledson carefully keep it between them. Now Woodburn wide out to the left. Fernandez decides to run directly at Spencer this time. Drives into the penalty area. Low cross, and it's met at the near post. Ali McCann's there, and Preston North End, with 19 minutes played, double their lead and show the clinical edge that Ryan Lowe's been craving. It's Huddersfield Town 0, Preston North End 2. Fernandez now drives infield with the ball, just drops the shoulder, gives it to Parrott. Drops it off with his compatriot Cunningham. Cunningham making his first appearance of the new season. Now just one short of 150 North End appearances. Woodburn, header for Fernandez. Fernandez to McCann, it's 3-0. Replica of the second for Preston North End. Fernandez with the assist, McCann with the finish. Woodburn nods it on to Ledson, looped over the top. Boyle just about getting back. And now Nakayama, dispossessed by McCann on the edge of the box. Woodburn! And it's in, no, it's not in the back of the net. It bounces off the crossbar. Potts now brings it forward. Edge of the box! Potts arrows it in! And as North End go close, Brad Potts picks it up and fires it into the bottom corner. The away end erupts again. North End have four. Ball fed forward. Greg Cunningham's kept Rhodes onside here. Rhodes bears down on goal. Freddie Woodman might have work to do. Rhodes rolls it into the back of the net and pulls one back for the Terriers. Huddersfield Town 1, Preston North End 4.
So a great result for Preston North End away at Wolverhampton Wanderers in the next round of the Carabao Cup. And what a great opportunity for some of our younger players to come through and make their debuts. Well done to Jacob Slater and Lewis Lee. Great to see them. And after such a great weekend for the under-19s in their opening match of the season, that fantastic 9-1 win at Oldham, things are going good for the under-19. So we pop down to Springfields for a bit of a chat.
Yeah, obviously first and foremost, just pleased with the performance. You know, to score 9 goals is great. For the boys to win the game is great. But the performance was exceptional, and you know, we got a number of younger players involved as well. Players who probably didn't play in some of the games last season, which is obviously like, you know, the conveyor belt of academy football. So yeah, we're really pleased with the start. The performance was exceptional, and it's always good to score 9 goals.
Yeah, it was a perfect start really. Obviously, first game back, we wanted to start as a mean to go on really, just get 9 goals against a good team as well. It was definitely encouraging, just looking to build from that really. So yeah, very happy with the start. Obviously, it's high expectations from last season, so it's hard to live up to them, but I think definitely got off on the right foot there, so hopefully just continue it against Stockport on Saturday. There's a lot of great players in this team, so it just raises a level, especially in training games. There's a lot of competition for places, so it definitely just helps everyone push on in the team and just keep improving really. Everybody
Probably connected with Preston, want to see young lads come through. They've got to be good enough, you know, the quality's got to be there. And probably at the moment it is. We've got a number of young players who are doing really well, but you know, the step up is huge. You know, every credit to the gaffer and the first team staff and the club, you know, giving players the debuts. You know, it's really pleasing to see, but you know, it is a massive step up, and you know, these young lads need to keep working hard and keep progressing and keep making an impact, whether that be in under 17 games, under 19 games, or even reserve team football. And you know, what it does show is that if they're doing well, you know, they get a chance now.
Yeah, it's very motivating seeing like players you play with week in, week out get the opportunities to play with the first team and progress, and it just makes you want to work harder really and keep pushing for that. So obviously that's the big aim for me, but a long way to go. Yeah, just keep working hard, keep playing well with the 19s, and hopefully everything will fall into place.
Yeah, obviously it's brilliant for us as a group of staff, but I think it's also, you know, good for the players who are at the academy. You know, they can see there's a real pathway. You know, if they do well and work hard, they're going to get an opportunity, and that should really motivate them to keep working hard and keep progressing. But again, first and foremost, every credit to the young lads last night who made the debuts, and obviously Mikey got on the pitch again. So you know, it's down to them. You know, we create an environment for them as a group of staff, but ultimately it's the players that go about the business, and they're the ones that get themselves the opportunity.
Right, it's time to look ahead now, and it's the weekend's trip to Luton Town. Hasn't been a happy hunting ground for us, Kenilworth Road. We haven't won there since 1999. So will Prince be partying this weekend? Graham Alexander, this is how long ago it is. He'd only just joined us from Luton Town. We'll mention that in our little chat coming up with him now, as well as how North End are doing at the moment, and of course, how Graham Alexander is doing at the moment.
I'm good, thanks, mate. Just left Motherwell a week ago after working there for 18 months. So I'm just putting a few bits and pieces in order, which you don't get time to do when you're in work because it's so hectic. Going to have a little bit of time with the wife and visit my girls, and see a few friends about the place, and then sort of be ready for the next challenge. Really, I think that's the sort of my way of looking forward. I think we look back on the job that we did at Motherwell with a great sense of pride, because you know we obviously went there and they were bottom of the league in last January, and we kept them up and then got them into Europe this year. So it was a brilliant 18 months for us. I think it was a new level of football, you know, a new opportunity, sort of out of our comfort zone, and we're so glad that we came up here and did it. But on to the next one now.
And would you think about staying north of the border, coming back down, open to anywhere?
I think, yeah. I remember when I left Salford, and I was just, I just felt like doing something different. I just wanted, you know, so I had a couple of opportunities down in England straight away after Salford, which I politely turned down. But you know, it was great to be wanted, and I felt privileged to do that. But I was just looking for something in particular that I needed to do, and I felt Motherwell was the opportunity to do that, to, you know, sort of go from the job we did at Salford, where it was, you know, a lot was put down to the budget we had. So I sort of purposely spent my time looking for a club without a budget, and that was Motherwell, you know. And we didn't have a a great budget there, and we were bottom of the league. But I thought, well, if there's a place to go and prove that you can manage well, then that was it. And I'm glad I took it, because I think myself and Chris proved that we could do a job without the finances that everyone thought we had at Salford.
I think taking a team from bottom of the Scottish Premiership into Europe is a reasonable enough job, Grez. I think we'd all agree that over here as well. We play one of your former teams this weekend. Well, they're both your former teams, I suppose, aren't they? I'm just thinking you're still Preston North End, but we go to Luton Town. So how are you feeling about both teams? Luton still one you keep an eye on as well?
Yeah, well, I only played for 4 clubs, so it's and I played a significant amount of games at the 4 clubs. I didn't, I wasn't a fleeting player that popped in and out of somewhere for a season. So Luton was a club that gave me my chance after playing for Scunthorpe in the 4th division until the age of 23. Luton were the team that took a chance on me, in that they were in the Championship then. And saw something in me. So it took me to another level of football, which I hadn't experienced before. But it went a bit flat towards the end. There was a lot of money problems at Luton in the 3rd and 4th year. And obviously soon after that went to administration, but it's obviously them that I came from to join Preston. So I enjoyed my time at Luton. I've still got a couple of friends that are Luton based and that. But and then obviously coming to Preston was the sort of changing of my career and my life, really. So I always have a soft spot for the clubs that I play for, because like I said, there wasn't a lot of them, and I felt I always left a little bit of the clubs. But obviously, if I look at it, Preston is where the deepest affection I have. But that's not to disrespect the time I had at Luton.
Well, I'll ask you about Luton then, because they had a ridiculous season last season, didn't they? I don't think anybody really, maybe it's not even Luton, expected them to finish where they finished, and they were really close to getting in the Premier League, weren't they?
They were. They did an amazing job, and I think it's been a steady rise for them over the last maybe 3, 4, 5 years. Obviously, Nathan. I know Nathan. Nathan joined Luton Town at the same time as me. Basically, I think the same day. And I got to know Nathan quite well in those 6 months, and looked after his car when he went to Spain in my garage. But he's done a great job there. Brought him up from League Two, obviously left for Stoke, but then went back and continued that progress. So that I think they've been steadily building over the time, doing it their way, to get to where they are now. I think they would have surprised a lot of people last year. I think if you speak to Nathan, I think he would have not expected it, but been driving for that sort of performance over the course of a season. But I always feel when you have a season like that and it's maybe not expected of you to do that, it's then following it up the season after, because people can change their ambitions, their drive, and almost feel like they've arrived. And I think that would probably be Nathan's biggest challenge at Luton is keeping that same hunger in the same players. But they had a fantastic season last season, to be fair.
Does the fact that maybe there's more pressure on them, we know how they play, will that change things for the opposition? They maybe know a little bit more of what to expect?
100%. I think that's the case. I think we experienced that when we won League One to get into the Championship with Preston, and we didn't have, I probably signed maybe 1 or 2 players, but no one with proven Championship pedigree, and the majority of us were from the lower leagues. And we got to the playoff final. We were 1 game away from the Premier League that season, and I think we were possibly a bit not unknown, but we weren't established. The season after that, once we'd had that season, we did feel that we had a lot more respect from the opposition. The games became a bit tougher, certainly at home at Deepdale, because it was such a fortress for us. I think teams almost sort of became a little bit, right, we'll sit in against them and make it difficult. So I think Luton will face that this season. After last season, that teams will give them the respect that they deserve. But it's each season brings up different challenges and teams evolve. But I think that's what Luton will face. And Luton are a good footballing team, but Preston have always had, I think, when we've been in the Championship, this ambition to get into the Premier League, and so that brings its pressure on itself as well.
Well, let me take you back to 1999 at Kenilworth Road, which we were just saying before we started this. It's too many years ago to remember. 23 years ago, I must have been 4 years old then. So
cheers, mate.
I wish I was 4 years old in 1999. But it was a part of a great run. It was the last time that North End won in the league at Luton Town, which is far too long a time to go. Do you remember much of that game? 2-0. David Ayres scored both of them. If not, maybe that specific game, that season was great for us, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I think I remember the game because obviously I'd just left Luton maybe in the March of that year, and obviously going back there, you get a bit of stick. Nothing that I'd had that I didn't have when I was playing there either. So
you recognised the booze, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought I was still playing for him at one point, but and it was the usual sort of stick and banter you might get at an away game. But obviously Kurt Nogan was playing as well, and he was an ex-Luton boy as well. But
was he getting it?
I don't know. I'll be honest. You sort of, I think when you go back to it and you've only just left, I think you sort of almost poking your ear out to see if you can hear anything, you know what I mean, towards you. And I can't really say I noticed whether Noggs got it as well, but he probably did, because he used to wind up the opposition supporters quite a lot, whereas I just get my head down and get on the game. I think Noggs used to like putting it about a little bit, but no. But all I just remember that we were determined, because we were devastated at losing in the playoff semi-final the year before. And we wanted obviously to go one better, and we started the season well. And obviously going back to Luton, I think it was a Tuesday. I'm sure it was a midweek game if I remember right. And we won, and I was buzzing because obviously I wanted to show people why I'd left to go to Preston. I was determined to go to Preston. That I went there for football reasons and to join a good team. And that's not to say Luton weren't a good team, but it was we had a fantastic season that year. I think away from home, I don't think we lost away from home until January, I think, against Stoke on TV.
In the league, at least, anyway.
Yeah, in the league, sorry, yeah. And so we were obviously a very good team, which is why we won the league. But those sort of games, that Luton Town's away and games like that, where we came through, I think I'm sure all the teams that obviously went up with us, Burnley and the other playoff teams, I think we beat them all away from home without conceding a goal. So, there was a real strength about our group and our squad, and obviously led by David Moyes. But we had some brilliant players to obviously score goals, and obviously Ayres got a couple that night. And I knew about Ayres because I played against him so many times prior to that, and he was always an absolute nightmare to mark because he was such a good player. Yeah, so it was good to have him on my team for once.
And just finally, from a defender's perspective, I suppose, you'll probably be happy with North End's season. 2 games, they haven't conceded in those 2 games, haven't scored either. But from a defensive point of view, that's a good base. Can we find positives in that at least, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's one of those where you don't win the league or get relegated or whatever in the first 2 games of the season. You're building into a long haul of a season where it's consistency is important, and you're building from a base of solidity. And I think if I go back to our sort of my time at Preston, certainly when I first went there, we had a lot of good players who could score goals, but we did a lot of work defensively to make sure we were hard to beat first and foremost. And if you get 2 clean sheets in your first 2 games, it is a positive to take on. Everyone wants to win 2 and 3-0 and do that, but that's not realistic over every game of all the way through the season. But being difficult to beat and to score against is something that you can build on, and then you try to improve the attacking sense of your game. But without seeing the games myself, it's by no means a bad start, but there's room for improvement, which I think is sort of what you could hope for as a manager in your first 2 games.
Don't forget, you can follow the match on iFollow, and if you want more information, travel or tickets, then go to all the usual places you nowhere. Right, it is another league game. Freddie Woodman, back-to-back clean sheets in the league, and Ryan Lowe, who, of course, is looking forward to the trip to Kenilworth Road.
You know, just because we beat Huddersfield 4-1, it doesn't mean to say that you can go and do that to Luton Town. There's not a chance. We've got to make sure we're right on the money at Luton, because we've seen what could happen there. You know, if you're not, we've got some fantastic players. They're well drilled, they're well coached from Nathan and his staff. It's going to be a tough afternoon, but it's one we're looking forward to. We feel coming off the back of a win, especially scoring 4 goals and a good performance. Hopefully we can take that into Saturday afternoon.
First and foremost, anyone in this league, you have to be careful of who you're playing against. It's that type of league. And obviously going to Kenilworth Road is always a tough day, no matter what. So yeah, we have to be aware. You know, we know the threat that they pose. But saying that, you know, we've done well in the cup, and we're looking to push on.
We spoke about it last season and this season of how well they done. And there's been loads of teams looking at Luton and what they did last season, especially Huddersfield as well, getting the playoff final. So yeah, but we'll wait and see. I think they've got two draws as well. They lost in the cup the other night, which, you know, they made a lot of changes, which sometimes can be good for you or bad for you. But what we've got to do is we've got to worry about what we think they're going to be the best Luton team that's going to turn up, and I'm sure they're going to put their best team out there to try and get points off us, of course. We'll be the same, but I'm looking forward to an entertaining game, yeah.
So I'm always critical of myself, you know, always looking at ways that I can improve and stuff. But yeah, I guess if you look at it, you know, 2 clean sheets, 2 really good defensive displays. You know, and I think if we want to be ultra critical, we'd have liked to picked up a few wins. But saying that, we haven't conceded, and we go into the weekend full of confidence, really.
And that's for now is that. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on your notifications if you want to be the first to watch all the latest content here on YouTube. As far as our matches coming up are concerned, the next 5 home games, tickets are on sale. We've got back-to-back home games after the Luton Town game against Rotherham and Watford. So get your tickets now if you haven't done already. And as I say, that's pretty much it. Thank you as always. We'll see you on the next episode of the Weekend Warm-Up. But for now, come on, you Whites!